Hello, my name is Carl Hoff, and I'd like to introduce the Neptune DoDep 3x3x3. I know this looks like a 5x5x5, but it isn't. But let me explain. First, let me get into some of the history of this particular puzzle. Back on January 31st, 2011, I had an idea which at the time I named the uniaxial 3x3x3. And the idea there was basically to create a 3x3x3 that had multiple cut depths. So you'd have deep cuts and shallow cuts. And the very next day, on February 1st, Guilty Bystander, a Twisty Puzzle member, pointed out that the idea was actually a superset of the Crazy Plus 3x3x3 series. And then that would have been the Venus version that was being called the uniaxial puzzle, which we later ended up naming the deep uniaxial because it had two deep cuts on the same axis. Tom Z was the first to come up with a mechanism to be able to build that first uniaxial puzzle. He presented the mechanism to me on February 12th, 2011, and he later presented a finished stickered puzzle on Twisty Puzzles on September 25th, 2011. I ended up purchasing that mechanism from Tom Z, and I made that version available on Shapeways back on March 17th, 2012. I made a slight modification to that mechanism, and that allowed me to make the Mercury version of the puzzle. So I called that the Mercury Uniaxial 3x3x3. Those are both probably going to end up getting renamed to the DoDep puzzles like this one. Basically at that point in time, Tom and I could only come up with a mechanism that allowed those two versions of the superset of the Crazy Plus 3x3 puzzles to be made. It wasn't until I saw E-Cube's 5x5x5 that he presented on December 3rd, 2013, that I saw a mechanism which I could modify to make the rest of the planetary series. This is the Neptune version, which means there's a shallow cut opposite a deep cut on each axis. Let me start with the white here. The one tells you that this is a shallow cut, so if I try to turn that layer, only the top layer turns. You can't turn the top layer because the next slice layer is locked to the core. If you look at the opposite face, it's yellow, it's got a 2 on it. That means you can't turn just the top layer. It's locked to the layer below it. If you try to just turn the top layer, it grabs the layer below it, and you see the top 2 layers turn. You have this behavior on each axis. That's the white and the yellow. Let's look at the red. The red's got a 1. It turns a single layer. The yellow, which is opposite, has a 2. Try to turn just that layer. It turns the top 2 layers. And then blue and green. Green's got a 2. Again, turns the top 2 layers. And opposite green is blue, which has a 1 on it. You try to turn that, and it's just the top layer which turns. So that's the behavior of the DoDep, or the Neptune version of the DoDep 3x3x3. We can make a slice pattern on this, or not a slice pattern, but a checkerboard pattern. It would end up looking like. So that's what the checkerboard pattern looks like on this particular puzzle. I don't want to scramble it up too much because, to be honest with you, I'm not sure I know how to solve it. But that is the Neptune DoDep 3x3x3. I have designed the other 7 cores, which allow you to make all 8 planets in this series. The round, basically, if you look at these cores, there's round faces and square faces. The round faces equate to the side with number 2 on them, which means that the slice layer is locked to the outer face layer. That's accomplished with these face centers, which have a square base on them, which locks the slice layer to the outer face layer. And there's another type of face center which goes with the square faces. The square faces lock that outer slice layer to the core. And there's a face center which has sort of an octagonal base to it. The corners are cut off so it doesn't grip into the slice layer, which just allows the outer face layer to turn. That's the mechanism of the puzzle. I'll be putting this up on Shapeways shortly. And thank you for watching.